All right, so co-CEO Ted Sarandos, he says that Netflix, after years of saying they weren't going to get into live, they're getting into live because people love it. But you know what people don't like? Glitches, problems, issues with the game. So what's your expectations for these two NFL games on Christmas Day? Not to mention, there's a Mariah Carey concert and then there's a Beyonce concert. There's a lot going on here.
There's a lot going on. It's going to be a blockbuster event. Everyone's going to want to tune in. And I think you hit the nail on the head. It's all about trying to deliver for fans on a global basis. And this really will set Netflix up for future success, not only in live, but particularly in the area of sports in general. So, they've steadily built up to this moment. And some of the well-documented issues that have been talked about, it has addressed some of those issues. And now we will see on Christmas Day if Netflix can actually deliver on the promises of fans on a global basis.
All right. Let's just say all the technicals go amazing. The games run well. The sound sounds great for the Beyonce concert. All the technical stuff's right. What about the business part of it? To broadcast an NFL game, it's pretty expensive. I'm seeing some estimates. It's $150 to broadcast these two games. What has to happen for this to be a profitable model for Netflix going forward? And what does it also mean about competition in the streaming space?
Well, there are a number of things to untangle in that question. So I think, first of all, the most important part is the actual cost of the rights themselves. And that's quite hefty. And that can vary by game, by season, and obviously by the various sports themselves. And that's obviously no easy feat. And as you talked about, it's in the millions. Then, of course, you've got the production costs associated with each of those games as well. And then the other associated costs in terms of the actual delivery of that. So I think, when you look at it from that basis, you then need to think about of having a viable financial business model to be able to deliver that element of a sport on a global basis at scale. So there's a number of challenges that you need to face there. You need to have the subscriptions in place with your customers. The sport itself needs to be attractive enough to actually attract new subscribers. And then, of course, a key part of that as well, beyond just subscriptions, is be able to have the service wrap and what you can do around advertising, which is another key pillar of Netflix financial strategy moving forward. So it's no coincidence it's moving to live sports as it started to step up. It's also coincided with grander plans in advertising. And when you start looking down the line, 5-6 years down the line, when it's got the scale in advertising, then it becomes extremely attractive for Netflix beyond just subscriptions alone.
All right, let's talk about subscriptions a bit more. According to your estimates, if you want to see every NFL game, you need 7 streaming services at a cost of about $1,500 per year. That's a lot of money. So I want to ask you 2 questions. Does that include the Sunday ticket? I do have the Sunday ticket. It costs a couple $100. I kind of justify it that I'm not spending money at a restaurant. But overall, this $1,500, what does that mean for the future of sports rights and media rights overall? Because I would imagine if people have to pay so much, it's going to be harder and harder to get them on all 7 of these platforms. Somebody's going to have to suffer sooner or later, right?
So that excludes also the broadband internet costs in order to be able to stream those matches to your connected devices, whether it's in the home or to your cell phone. So there are a number of challenges there that need to be addressed. The biggest challenge right now in sports, as you kind of eloquently put there, looking at some of my research, is the fragmentation that exists for users. Users are having to being forced to sign up to a number of streaming services, which means different billing cycles. And of course, they then have to support those services by downloading different apps. It's a hugely fragmented experience. If you look at just what's happening in the UK, for example, Boxing Day, Amazon is going to be streaming Premier League soccer, not football, soccer, for the last time as part of its rights portfolio. And then from next year, we're going back towards returning back to a monopolistic view where Sky Sports will have the majority of the rights again. And part of the challenge, of course, is the consumer frustration having to fork out huge sums of money for some of these services. So I think it's a real test of Netflix resolve right now. If they can get this right, there will obviously be a greater appetite for the NFL to work more closely towards a smaller number of streaming providers. The direction of travel is clearly all points towards a streaming future.